Hi, this is Margo. This is Sunday evening, April 16th, 2023. I hope everyone is safe and doing as well as possible. And another week has passed, and this will be my weekly update that I'll be putting on YouTube. So I'd like to welcome everyone to the show tonight. And we're going to go over methane for the week, but specifically for Saturday for CAMS and NOAA. We'll go over Climate Reanalyzer and sea ice and probably a few earthquakes. So that's our plan for tonight, and I would like to thank the kind comments that I got on my last show and last couple of shows. I wasn't feeling well enough to do my Sunday night show, but I feel well enough tonight, and we'll just get through this. So I've cut back also on my reporting. I'm still gathering data every day, but I've cut back on the way I'm reporting it and giving myself just a little more time to myself to take care of things. So here we are for today on Climate Reanalyzer with maximum temperatures around the world. And here's the coldest air in the northern hemisphere up here over the Arctic basin in Greenland. And we still have cold air coming down into the U.S. It was nice here last couple of days here in the Reno area, but we're getting another cold front in tonight, so it's still winter in my mind. And anyway, then see, we've got whites down here through Mexico and Central America. That's 40 degrees C or higher, or 104 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. Then coming across Africa, India is really heating up. Look at the whole country looks like it's in whites. And then southern Asia. Australia is cooling down. They don't have any whites over there. Here's 2-meter temperature anomaly, and we can see warm air, or warmer than normal, into the browns from Svalbard up almost to Severnaya Zemlya, and then across to Russia and so on. And then all these blues, that's where the cold air is escaping from the Arctic. See, it's coming straight down through the middle of the U.S., down through Texas, and then we've got browns and even up into reds on the east side. And this red is in Canada, just across from the Great Lakes. Here's the global view, or the flat view. So we've got blues coming down through Russia and Kazakhstan. Then browns in China and India. And in the Antarctic, we've got browns and reddish browns as well. Here's our overview. Worldwide, we're up 0.6 C higher than normal. The northern hemisphere is up 0.77 C. The Arctic is up 2.41 C. The Antarctic is up 1.31 C. The southern hemisphere is up 0.43 C. And the tropics are up 0.5 C. So all the regions are in the plus zone, and then we've got Arctic and Antarctic both heating, so higher than normal. And I got a very nice donation yesterday. I'd like to thank that person for sending me that. I really appreciate it, and you know, everything helps. Anything helps. But I know a lot of people can't. I know money is tight, and so it is as it is. I'm still here, and still reporting. Okay, here's precipitation and clouds. We've got rain approaching Greenland, and I'm watching every day on National Snow and Ice Data Center to see when they're going to start reporting on the Greenland ice sheet melt. Normally it's around mid-April, and they did put a post up saying that they would resume the Greenland reporting around mid-April, but nothing yet. We've also got we've got rain, see, coming up to Svalbard. So having rain this early in the season is not a good sign. Having rain in the Arctic this early in the season, and on the sea ice, and on the edge of Greenland is not good. Makes me think, if it's already raining up here this early, I mean, it's only going to get warmer from here on. Here's the next system coming into North America. And see, we've got this snow and rain-snow mix up here. This is in Canada, just across from the US here. And then rain coming straight down. Another atmospheric river, it looks like. Here's the flat view. Look how far south the rain is coming here, down to the Antarctic, and we've got pink coming up to the coastline of the Antarctic, which is freezing rain. So that means it's warmer to have even freezing rain on the coastline there. And then these are the next systems coming across the Pacific there. Here are the jet pieces, and see the big loops. Here's the cold air coming down. And here's the flat view. And here's the Pacific. And it always seems to be breaking up here in the Pacific ever since the jet stream broke. Here's sea ice and snow cover, and it looks like we got a little regrowth here in the North Barents Sea, but it's melting some other places to make up for whatever inched out there. And sea surface temperature anomaly, this is for yesterday, and all these browns and into the reds and pinks, and you know, this is the situation with the ocean temperatures is really dire. And see here, it's brown in the Bering Sea right up to the ice there. Here's the Pacific view, and let's see, it's heating up even more around Japan. India, look at all the brown in the Indian Ocean, and see how it's heating up on this west coast of South America, and this whole equatorial Pacific region is going brown as the El Nino is setting in. So there's that. Now we'll go to methane. We're starting with the NOAA methane data for yesterday, the 15th. And we're first looking at the 1,000 millibar level, Met-B satellite in the morning. The mean or average was 1,838 parts per billion. The high reading was 2138. In the afternoon, the mean was 1837. The high reading was 2121. On the Met-C satellite in the morning, the mean was 1842. The high reading was 2163. And in the afternoon, the mean was 1844, and the high reading was 2053. So, oh, I forgot to tell y'all, now last week, around the weekend, remember there were like 4 days of missing data, and so I didn't update the weekly chart for last week, because I didn't feel like it was enough data to warrant updating the weekly chart, but it came back online on the 10th, and we've had data every day since then. And so this is a 2-week span from April 1st to April 15th that we're looking at. And so the 15th averaged out to be 1840.25 parts per billion. And for the last 2 weeks, it's gone down 1 part per billion. So here's our decrease here. And so this is stair-stepping, and this is common to have it stair-stepping at the beginning of the warming season. And we can see what's going on this week. So no data, and from the 7th through the 9th, and then the 10th came out to be 1843.0 when they got back online, and that was an increase of 2.25 from the 5th. which was the last day of good data. And then on the 11th it went down 1.0. On the 12th it went down 2.0. The 13th it went down 1.0. The 14th it went up 1.0. And the 15th it went up 0.25, giving us an overall decrease in the 2 weeks of 1.0. So that's not much. It's not much of a change. And then here with the 487 millibar. Let's go back over here. 487 millibar Met-Op B satellite in the morning. The mean was 1912. The high reading was 2335. In the afternoon, the mean was 1913. The high reading was 2344. On the Met-Op C satellite in the morning, the mean was 1877. The high reading was 2270. And in the afternoon, the mean was 1877. And the high reading was 2312. And you can see higher readings. It's moving towards the pink zone here over the Antarctic even. And the pink is this range here at the top end of, it's between 2,000 parts per billion and whatever this number is up here, in this case 2312. So the 15th averaged out to be 1894.75. That was a decrease in the last 2 weeks of 1.5. So they both went down a little bit. See, that's not much, 1.5. But it did go down. And so when it came back online on the 10th, it was 1897.25, and that was an increase from the 5th of 0.75. And then the 10th went down 2.0. The 11th went down 2.0. The 12th went down 0.5. The 13th down 0.75. No change on the 14th. And then on the 15th it went up 0.75, giving us an overall decrease in 2 weeks of 1.5. So there's that. Now we'll look at the CAMS forecast. We're at the Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Service website out of the EU. And they upgraded this March the 1st. In case y'all haven't been watching and seeing the differences, I like it, but this Arctic region is smaller. It's kind of zoomed out. I would like it a little bit bigger, or a way to zoom in, but we don't have that. Our base time and valid time are both for Saturday, April 15th, and we're starting on the Arctic area and surface level. So the data is for Saturday, and the forecast period is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Oh, it's kind of spooling. Gotta get it to loop. Okay, here we go. Now look up here. This is coming up through the sea ice in the Chukchi Sea. It's a big area, and at one point, well, I think it was in forecast period, it went into the red zone. Watch. There we go. See? Sunday. So, yeah. So, it's moving from yellow into this, kind of, this orangey red, and that's 2060 parts per billion, and then the bright red orange is 2080. So, you know, the sun's just come up, so it's, but we're seeing melting, and we're seeing the methane now coming up here in the Chukchi Sea. Okay, let's keep going. Next to that is the heavy readings at Koptovik, Alaska, where they have the oil stuff going on up there. We've been seeing it stream up from the UK. The UK is just filled with the higher readings. We've also been seeing a high reading off the coast of northern coast of Norway. Probably oil drilling. See right there. There it is. And coming back to life in the Scandinavian area. Russia is still pretty subdued on the interior with methane. We're seeing a little bit more come up here in this area, just south of Norilsk. And then here in North America, we've got hemorrhaging continuously at North Dakota. We've got, just depending on the day, you'll have areas of big blobs of the highest readings. And see the line coming up there, that's following the Mississippi River. See Texas. See, there's the line, Mississippi River. There's that. Now, we'll go to the North Pole view. And here is the UK and Ireland, and see it streaming up from that area. And Germany is filling up again. Here's the Persian Gulf. Here's India. See, it's gone down a little bit at India. It's not just solid black. In China, it's filling back up. And these waves moving out. There's that. Now we'll look at the global view. And see, the southern hemisphere is it's almost all in the lighter blue. This is having a reload. Here we go. See the lighter blue, and that's 1840 parts per billion. The dark blue is 1820. Why is it doing this? I loaded it up ahead of time. Look at that. It's like for part of Tuesday. I don't know. Maybe they've got some missing images. It's hard to say. No, now it's working. We can see Brazil filling up. And a lot of interior areas here in South America going higher. And so on. Now we'll go to 500 HPA. We're seeing lighter readings, which means lower readings, now creeping in the Arctic as this heavy part is kind of breaking up and dispersing, moving further south, which is what it does during this time period. And then total column, and see this dark area along China all the way up to Japan, also here in Brazil. So there's that. And here's sulfur dioxide today. Now over here in Kamchatka, Russia, the Shiveluch volcano has been exploding for the last few days, and see all the red. This is sulfur dioxide that got caught up in the jet stream and came across the Aleutian Islands and across Alaska and covering this whole west side of Canada, and see it swooping down into the U.S., even down through Texas with sulfur dioxide. And here it is at 500 HPA, so it hangs around for a long time at this level in the atmosphere. And see the heavies there. Here's the North Pole view. And here it is at 500 HPA. So, looks like some kind of weird bizarre modern art. Okay, here's the Antarctic ozone for today. Now, we had a danger zone hole open up on this northern part a couple of days ago, and you know, it's grew bigger, and then it shrunk up, and now we've got a second one opening up. And you see this is in the kind of purplish blue color, and inside a thick black line. And this is how they show that this is a danger zone, because it's between 200 and 220 Dobson units. So it's very, very early in the season to be seeing these danger zone holes open up like this. So, you know, we're not done with ozone problems. And here's the Arctic ozone, and you can see it's breaking up, redispersing around the planet, redistributing, and see the heavy seas coming further south. And we still have greens, which is thin, all around these mid-latitude levels. We saw that. Alright, now we'll move on to sea ice. And this is from the U.S. Navy, Arctic sea ice thickness. Peter Wadhams was in an interview. There was a show, it was about a month ago, and I found it today and saw it. It was very good, and it was, he was talking about the ice loss in the Arctic and the Antarctic, and he pointed out that it's the ice loss is happening differently than what he had thought. He had thought that the extent would just keep shrinking down every year until we finally got to a blue ocean event in the summertime. But he said what we're seeing now is ice loss year round, and it's so the extent is you know, it's still shrinking, but not as fast as he thought it would, but instead it's melting all the way around, and from the top and the bottom, and year round, even in the winter time, is what we're seeing on the Arctic. So here we are in for today, Arctic sea ice thickness, and doesn't look much different from last time, does it? Look, we've got a little hint of red here off the coast of Russia. And here's the 30-day animation. So the data goes back 3 weeks, and the forecast period goes until next Sunday. You can still see it exiting here along this east side of Greenland. Also see it exiting through the Fram Strait and down through the Baffin Bay. Some areas are still thickening a tiny bit, but the sun is up, and so soon we're going to start seeing massive melting starting up here. So the thickest ice, which is the dark red, we have a little thin line along the Canada coastline here of that's 5 meters thick. Just fringes of bright red, which is about 4 meters thick. Not much yellow. Here's this green band just above Greenland and Canada, and that's about 3 meters thick. The bright aqua is about 2 to 2.5 meters thick. And then once you get into the dark blues and purples, you're thinning way down. So there's that. Here's the Beaufort sea ice thickness. Here's the thickest right along the coastline. It piles up, and the way that the ice drift runs is, when it'll push the ice against the coastline, and then it piles up and gets thicker around the coastlines. So mainly aquas here. And here's the 30-day animation. Again, updated to today. So the forecast goes out to next Sunday. We've got just tiny areas of bright red moving in here in the Beaufort Sea and also along the Alaska coastline. So there's that. Here's the Antarctic today. And here's the regrowth, southern part, and in the Weddell Sea, and a little fringe of ice around all the coastlines. And here's the 30-day animation. This was updated to today. So the forecast goes out to next Sunday again. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. So we can see the regrowth here. It's still, the extent is still low in comparison. And it's quite thin. But generally most of the sea ice melts here in the Antarctic during their summertime. And so we don't have much to start with on the refreeze. Look at this aqua. It's sliding down. Look at that. Sliding along this western peninsula. Okay, here's National Snow and Ice Data Center. Arctic sea ice concentration for yesterday. See these blues inside here? This is where it's melting. Also up here in the North Baffin Bay. And also on this east side. See? And here's where it regrew this week. Right here in the North Barents Sea and along some of these coastlines. Here's the melting chart for the extent. This blue line is this year, the dotted line is 2012. So we've been well below 2012 as we were approaching the maximum. Look how far lower even we are than 2012 for this time. And see, the last few days it flatlined. It had been going down and then it went up for a couple of days, just a nudge, and then it's going down there. So well below 2012 in the median. Here's the Antarctic, and here's the refreeze chart. And this blue line is this year, and we can see it's broken away from this kind of grayish, greenish line. This was last year, and here we are so far this year on the refreeze. And it's, see, it had been tied with last year for a long time, and now, see, it's below last year now. That's all of those. Okay. Now we'll take a peek at NASA Worldview. Here's sea ice concentration, and wherever you see pinks, that's melting. It's breaking apart. In some areas we're seeing open water where it's breaking apart. So this corresponds with what we saw on the Navy model. And see the darker pink here? This is Beaufort Sea, and on this east side, see the red coming in. So that means you can come under attack and scrutiny if you report on this. Alright, so there's that. And then, okay, let's go in and see what we can see. And I haven't tried the nighttime view. We might use it for a couple of things though, if we can see anything. And so this Lincoln Sea is clearing out. We can see that. See the white? These are the thicker pieces. Those are exiting here through the Fram Strait, and it looks like just a little refreeze of skim ice here. So this never really refroze completely during the winter time. There's a cloud. Okay, and then this this is ice. I thought all that was cloud, but this is frozen down to where it opens next to Greenland into the Baffin Bay. Here's the ice. See, you can see that's melting. And so on. I mean, you can get lost just looking at this stuff. Okay, here's this east side. Now, here's the rain storm coming right up to the coastline here. There's Iceland. Here's this east side of the ice on Greenland. Here's Svalbard. Here's Franz Josef Land. And here's the fringe ice kind of refreezing here. And then coming around, here's the Laptev Sea here. We're seeing a few cracks starting there. And here's this East Siberian Sea and Alaska. And now remember, the sun is still low on the horizon, so some of the models just won't show us what we'd like to see. So here's the Beaufort Sea. Here's see all these cracks. This is part of an area with the 2 to 2.5 meter thick range. Here's Ellesmere Island, and you can see the crack coming across Ellesmere. Oh, here's Ellesmere. There's a crack going all the way across. Okay, so there's that. And we can take a peek at the Antarctic. And here's the model showing the areas that are now in the dark. And just a little bit, well, it's quite a bit on the east side, but there's that, and then fringe ice around the other sides. Then down here, see this guy? This is our A76 iceberg, and it's breaking up. You can see a jagged line there. And let's see what else. Why are you I'm getting sleepy. Okay, so there's that. And now here's earthquakes for today. There were 168 worldwide. That's a much lower number than what we've been seeing. And we'll just go right to seven days all magnitudes. Okay, I missed seeing this Arctic earthquake. This was a 4.3 north of Franz Josef Land, and this came in on the 10th. And here's one between Svalbard, Iceland and Svalbard on that plate line was a 4.2 that came in on the 15th. Now I wanted to show here we had quite a bit of movement on the Juan de Fuca plate this week, and this is also always worrisome. This is This is the subduction zone, Cascadia subduction zone over here on the right and along the west coast. And if this plate moves enough, then one is going to slip under the other, and this whole Pacific Northwest is just could collapse almost instantly. Alright, so here okay, so here's the big one, 6.0. See, it's straight across from Vancouver Island, and that came in on the 13th, and then 4.2 on the 14th, and then further south 2.9, and next to that 2.8. We also had what would look like extraordinary movement here. The geysers 440 this week, so that number is way up. We had I think it was a 4.4. Let's see. No. Yeah, here it is, 4.4. Uh-oh. I didn't mean to do that. You can tell I'm tired. Okay, so there's a 4.4 was the largest one this week. This happened on the evening of the 11th. Then and then we had a 3.0 on the 13th, and 3.9, so that's getting up there on the 13th as well. So, hit the wrong one. There we go. So in the lower 48 today, let's see how many we might have. Let's see. Arkansas had one. Okay. Okay. So anyway, you get the idea there. And then, so I'm just going to go over the largest ones, I think. Seven days, 2.5, okay. And we had a 7.0 here off the coast of Indonesia. See, this came in on the 14th, and it was 594 kilometers deep. So that's about as deep as they come. So with it deep like that, that buffers the shaking. So there's that. Alright, so that's my report for tonight, and we'll move on over and bring a spiritual perspective to all of this. We're continuing to read out of the book of Job. Job chapter 27. Moreover, Job continued his parable and said, As God liveth, who hath taken away my judgment, and the Almighty, who hath vexed my soul, all the while my breath is in me, and the Spirit of God is in my nostrils. My lips shall not speak wickedness, nor my tongue utter deceit. God forbid that I should justify you. Till I die, I will not remove mine integrity from me. My righteousness I hold fast, and will not let it go. My heart shall not reproach me so long as I live. Let mine enemy be as the wicked, and he that riseth up against me as the unrighteous. For what is the hope of the hypocrite, though he hath gained, when God taketh away his soul? Will God hear his cry when trouble cometh upon him? Will he delight himself in the Almighty? Will he always call upon God? I will teach you by the hand of God that which is with the Almighty, while will I not conceal? Behold, all ye yourselves have seen it. Why then are ye thus altogether vain? This is the portion of a wicked man with God, and the heritage of oppressors, which they shall receive of the Almighty. If his children be multiplied, it is for the record. But the offspring shall not be justified with Israel. Those that remain of him shall be buried in death, and his wickedness shall not weep. Though he heap up silver as the dust, and prepare raiment as the clay, he may prepare it, but the just shall put it on, and the innocent shall divide the silver. He buildeth his house as a moth, and as a booth that the keeper maketh. The rich man shall lie down, but he shall not be gathered. He openeth his eyes, and he is not. Therefore take hold on him as waters. A tempest stealeth him away in the night. The east wind carrieth him away, and he departeth, and as a storm hurleth him out of his place. For God shall cast upon him and not spare. He should fain flee out of his hand. Men shall clap their hands at him, and shall hiss him out of his place. Job chapter 27. So we're seeing all these changes that the Israelites are going through. And, we've got some big changes coming up But if you've given your life to Jesus Christ, and that you can be indwelled with the Holy Spirit discernment and see what's really going on. So I love you all, and I'm praying for you. Until next time, God bless you. Go in peace, and I will talk to you soon. Good night.